What am I doing with this paper shredder? Well, now that C Spire offers no contract $45 unlimited plan, I don't need to hold on to all these contracts. We're going to need a bigger paper shredder. Keep your number, skip the contract. With no contract $45 unlimited. Terms and conditions apply. See cspire.com/no contract for plan details.
And let's see here. Who else has showed up? Stu Gerson.
Stu.
There you are. Aliens visit here. Good to see you, my lovely friend. Gabe Roca. Nice to have you back. Sith Lord. Good to see you. Open-minded Clarity. Nice to have you here. Jello Putin. Smokin' Joe. Millennium, Marty Burback, how are you? Little Davey Altman is here, everyone. Little Davey Altman. Hey, Nikki, how are you? Good to see you, hon. And Chad Palmer, nice to have you here. Mental Pancakes. Uncle Dale and his Power Stash. Remember, if you see Uncle Dale in Austin, Texas, rub his Power Stash for 14 days of good luck. 509er, nice to see you. Tim Scott, good to see you here. I don't know what happened with Tony Merkel tonight. I don't know. I got to talk to my scheduling people, so I apologize. Gorgeous Renee, Mentira, nice to have you here from Mexico. Jesse Peak, Flash Forward. Jeff Steve Garvey, Stetson John, Wizard Gren, nice to have you all here. Vincent Proto, good to see you here, my friend. And Steve Stockton from KPNL. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Kurt Seltzer with a splash of lime. Joe Smith, good to see you. Helen Jepson, or Yepison. There we go. Here we go, everyone. British Columbia, to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor and hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter on Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. I got to tell you, I'm always excited when one of my favorite people in ufology comes on. Nicole Sakach may be one of the newer faces, but she has shown a powerful voice in research in the last year and a half. Maintaining a steadfast approach to unearthing information on the subject at large, Nicole is exceptional in her focus and priority. Based out of Illinois, she currently works as an assistant under the legendary researcher and author Grant Cameron. She is also a favorite of our listeners here on this show. Nicole exercises her expertise to fine-tune details regarding UFO secrets, clandestine documents, and investigating the long and proud research of Stanton Friedman, and Nicole Sakach is her YouTube channel. We want to make sure all of our listeners go on over after this show, not during, but after this show, and subscribe to her channel. The lovely and talented Nicole Sakach, it is always a pleasure to have you on Spaced Out Radio. How are you?
Dave, I'm great. This is the perfect way to end my Tuesday. So thank you so much.
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem. I love it that you're here, and I'm always appreciative when I get an opportunity to talk to you, not just on a personal level, but on a professional level as well. And, you know, full disclosure here, I would say you are one of my best friends in ufology. And I'm very, very appreciative. Nicole and I literally talk every day. Every day. Maybe on the weekends we take some time off, but literally we are talking UFOs every day. And Nicole, I got to say, from my point of view, when I first interviewed you on this show a couple of years ago to where you are now, you have literally skyrocketed like a SpaceX rocket into the stratosphere with your knowledge and your ability to really become a major player and voice of reason in this community, and your hard work has paid off. Congratulations on that.
Oh, Dave, that was the best intro ever. And yep, you are definitely one of my go-to. I have to talk to you and get your opinion about everything I check in on every day. So it's nice though. I think you and I developing a friendship is exactly the kind of touchstones that everybody needs in this community if they're going to give it a go and try to be in the public forum at all. You have to have your inner circle and, you know, look out for each other. And I don't know, you were the first public platform to give me a voice and talk about my experiences and also, like you said, my research. So,
How
and
is
it's just based on hunting my experience. So,
how have you enjoyed going from relatively unknown in this community just a year and a half, 2 years ago, to literally, being booked for conferences and people are calling you all the time. People are putting you in that echelon of people in the know. I mean, it's been a rapid year and a half for you. How have you kept it together?
honestly, it's overwhelming. And I just try to be a yes person. Early on, it was just a goal of mine to simply be able to network and be able to have a vast group of very different friends, because when you're serious about looking into this community, you soon realize that it's not everybody isn't the same. You do have to extend that you want to get along with everybody. You want to be interested in what they're researching, even though, you may or may not agree with everything. But I think it's important to come together. And when I decided to kind of venture into the public forum and really join groups and put my voice out there, yeah, it's hard to do at first, but you learn and you live through it. And here I am. I didn't ever expect that when I, joined Facebook groups 4 years ago that I would be, at MegaCon 3 years later. That's just still mind blowing to me. And yeah, it's given me a different perspective, I think, on this community. You always hear things, but once you experience them yourself, you kind of can gauge the situation a little differently. So it's been very eye opening. And it's the best part of the last 3 years have been the unexpected detours that I've made. I mean, just to put my experiencer hat on for a second, just the synchronicities that have happened that have led me to where I'm at. I could have never have imagined them or tried to see this for myself ever. So it's been great.
What have you enjoyed about learning about the other side of the UFO community that you weren't so used to in the past?
What have I enjoyed?
What have you enjoyed?
I think what I enjoy the most is when I force myself into the rabbit holes that I haven't dove into before. And when I find myself getting a little, uncomfortable is the wrong word, but when I find myself in like that territory that I haven't explored before, and when I hear something new about an encounter or an experience, or it, for example, just today, you said hi to our friend Davey Altman.
Little Davey Altman, yes.
Room. He turned me on to this YouTube channel he found that is full of old radio broadcasts in ufology. And I was scrolling through them this morning, and lo and behold, I found an old Linda Moulton Howell report/update on one of my favorite cases that nobody ever knows anything about. So that was just great. I felt like I found a gemstone, and yeah. So now I have a whole new avenue to dig into on that case that I've been looking into, I think for 5 years now. So, and that was just completely random, but I like that. And it's always that moment where somebody's like, well, I came across this, let me send you this. And then you never know where that leads. And often what I'm finding now that I've been doing this pretty much full time in my spare time, but really, studying ufology for close to 25 years now, or a little over 25 years now. It's always great when you can find something that leads you back to the beginning. When you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't come across this in, 10 years. And now all of a sudden you have another puzzle piece and you can take it a little further. So it always surprises me how much patience that you realize you don't even have in this, but it's there all along.
For you, what have you learned about yourself? Have you had to learn patience? Have you had to learn trust? Because the entire world of ufology is so up in the air right now, whether it's the storylines, the narrative, where the news is coming from, who is breaking the news, who can you trust with information, who you can't.
I've learned to trust my gut instinct, or we joke and say spidey senses, or, your experiencer feely, emotions. Like, I've really learned that I can trust that. I don't have to always try to second guess it. And it kind of pays off when you talk to a lot of people on social media. You get the feelers for somebody that, you want to continue talking to them and see what they have to say about a certain case, or, something that they came across that's interesting, or, you can gauge your gut feeling like, no, maybe this is for somebody else to dig into. So I've learned kind of situations like that. And of course, I think everybody who's an experiencer that starts researching, at first I think everybody is very closed off from everybody in the community. They don't know who they can trust. They don't know, who's lying or what might be flamboyant, so you spend so much time introverted that I think after meeting some allies in this community and them being so encouraging to me that, I got to rely on the fact that I have gained a lot of knowledge over the last couple decades. And that became more and more clear to me the more groups I joined and people did start asking me questions, or I could turn them to books that I've read and they could look up the information themselves. And that's a lot of fun too, is not really telling everybody everything that you know, but being able to reference them to dig and find their own information, because I think we all interpret things a different way sometimes. And in this community, when everything is so unprovable, it's kind of good to have everybody's differing opinions in the hat, I think. So I've picked up Grant's rambling too. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I can just go on and on and on.
But the big thing, Nicole, is there is a huge difference between being an experiencer and being a researcher. A researcher, you need to be a little bit more level-headed. You need to be a little bit more skeptical, a little bit more concise. Whereas with being an experiencer like you are, like I am, and many of our audience are, we're in the midst of searching for our answers and relying on people who've never had the experience to try and bring us those answers. So how do you balance the two?
Oh, it's tough. Honestly, I think what gives me a little bit of the level-headedness is I really turned away from my experiencer side. I feel like an experiencer newborn in a lot of ways, because I've learned so much about how to deal with my own experiences over the last, I would say, 3 years, 2 years. And so spending the bulk of my searching years from that nuts and bolts point of view, where I thought I was hunting down something that was absolutely going to be physical, that there were, the government absolutely had something and I'd be able to find, that evidence, or somebody would spill the beans sometime, like the current situation we're in now. But I think once I ventured into the experiencer side of this community, instead of just trying to wear the nuts and bolts researcher hat, that's when my research opened up into other avenues. And I think I've been able to dive deeper, or use what I've contemplated from my own experiences, and I've been able to bring that into where I let my research take me, I guess you could say. Like, one thing Grant and I have always kind of continually talked about is this music theme, with ufology. And yes, it's fun to hunt down rock stars and hear their sighting stories, or play the number one song that goes to the chart that, is about UFOs or aliens. But just the fun thing for me to realize that, the soundtrack that I made, that I played the night I had my sighting, was just so full of experiencer music, of musicians who had experiences. And to know, like, that synchronicity kind of led me to Grant and Grant's work, and his which his experience involves music as well. So those avenues, from a nuts and bolts perspective, I never would have ventured into, more than, playing the Moody Blues has a song, more than just that level of music and ufology. So, and it's led me to artists and painting, and, it's just fascinating.
For you, though, we've got 7 minutes before we got to go to break, because the one story that I love of yours is the rock story. Okay.
You want me to go get the rocks?
I would love you you don't need to get the rocks, but I would love for you to take us through, in that 7 minutes, what happened to you, because this one seemed to hit home, because you and I have had a few synchronicities over the last couple of years that we've been chatting. But this whole thing with the rock, I remember you calling me up, and literally you were crying tears of joy on the phone because you couldn't believe this had happened. Tell us the story.
Okay, so for 25 years, I've skywatched since my first sighting, and I often go to the same location. And we know that you as an experiencer can often have symptoms, and you feel like something's going to happen, and a sighting could happen, or maybe like a telepathic download or some noetic experience. Well, my experiencer symptoms had been acting up kind of all week, and I knew I had to go to my sighting spot. So I got to speed up the story. I went out there, nothing was there. 2 hours later, everybody in the community around me starts lighting up Facebook. Something's here, something's in the sky. Who can tell me what this is? So I, of course, being the UFO lady around here, catch wind of this, and I'm like, I knew it. Fly back out to my spot. Still nothing there. And I know I'm leaving out like the juicy suspense parts, but so what I didn't mention is this spot is our county kind of rock surplus to rock roads. So there's always these big giant mounds of rocks, 20, sometimes 25 feet tall, So I'm out there, I'm standing on top of this rock pile, I'm panning around, doing a 360, trying to see what people are reporting seeing in the sky. And I'm all pissed because nothing's there. And I come down this rock pile, I'm throwing my cameras into my car, and I turn around and I look up, and it's directly above me. And it was this teardrop sort of almost translucent thing just hanging in the sky. And I didn't expect it to affect me how it did, but the first thing I did do was burst into tears. And I was like, oh my God, this is really happening. I'm seeing this. Like, and instantaneously I was like, get your shit together. You've been waiting for this for 25 years, you know? And that's when I pulled out my camera, and I just I used to have a group of friends that we talked about going Facebook Live if we ever saw something while we were sky watching. So that's what I did. Flipped open my phone and I caught this thing on camera for close to 5 minutes. And it started doing this light pop in and out thing. And I'm playing Dave Matthews blaring out of my car, laughing my butt off. And I'm going, you know, thank you. Are you guys seeing this? I'm talking to my friends on Facebook Live, and they were kind of chiming in, yes, it's red now. Yes, it just turned yellow. And it was just this light flare that it was doing was just amazing. And then poof, it was gone. And then poof, it was back. And so after it left for the last time, I'm like so pumped. It was like I was just yelling to this thing and trying to hold the camera still. And I was like, thank you. And it's like, I knew I had to leave. Like something was telling me it's okay to leave. It wasn't going to come back. So I went to a second location, still couldn't see it again from anywhere else. So I decided to go home. And usually my dog is at the back door, and he wasn't at the back door. So I go in my house, flip on some lights. I find my dog upstairs, and in my center hallway between the bedrooms, there's giant puddle.
What am I doing with this paper shredder? Well, now that C Spire offers no contract $45 unlimited plan, I don't need to hold on to all these contracts. We're going to need a bigger paper shredder. Keep your number, skip the contract. With no contract $45 unlimited. Terms and conditions apply. See cspire.com/no contract for plan details. What am I doing with this paper shredder? Well, now that C Spire offers no contract $45 unlimited plan, I don't need to hold on to all these contracts. We're going to need a bigger paper shredder. Keep your number, skip the contract. With no contract $45 unlimited. Terms and conditions apply. See cspire.com/no contract for plan details.
And my dog is under my bed, just scared, like will not come out. And so I finally coax him out, and I come back down my stairs, and I'm entering into my dining room / office / ufology workstation. And I sat down, just kind of where I'm at now. I lean forward to untie my shoe, and like right in front of my nose on this table is this small pile of all these little tiny rocks just sitting right there. And that's when I called you, and I was kind of like, oh my God, there's a pile of rocks. I think I've had an apport. I think they were in my house. Like, this is an affirmation. I think they were saying I saw you too. Like, you know, I don't know. I should have recorded that phone call because I'm sure I was talking 2 times faster than Grant Cameron level talking. So, but it was amazing. And I kept the rocks. I photographed my entire, you know, dining room area. Like I took pictures of my dog's pee puddle, and I took a lot on video just to kind of show how my dog was still reacting. And I mean, my dog he's a ferocious half Shih Tzu. I mean, he barks at everybody that comes in the house. He's not like a bark and run off kind of dog. He's a bark at you and come at you until I stop him kind of dog. So I don't know. And that whole experience was a little over a year now. It was, and I have honestly spent the entire last year kind of dumbfounded about it. Like, were the contact modalities that I was using, did they really work? Was this, like this crescendo of 25 years? Is that it? Is it going to happen again? Like, your mind wanders, and yeah, so I'm hooked. I'm at least in for another 25 years.
20 seconds. Did you feel a little bit odd that there was something in your house that scared your dog?
Yes and no. It was more like I laugh a lot. I knew when I came to the experiencer side that I would eat a lot of crow sandwiches and have to admit that I was wrong about a lot of things. And I had hardcore so made fun of apports and just kind of thought they were bogus that it felt like a little slap in the face.
I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Nicole Sakach, research assistant to Grant Cameron, one of the best out there when it comes to researching this topic. She shakes her head no. I say yes. I get the final word. We continue after this. I am so excited right now. Let me tell you why.
Why?
This man here, Fittermouse, that is my guru, my mentor, and my friend Pascal that I brag about.
Oh.
And you've heard me brag about him lots.
Yes, I have.
And he is one of the most special people in my life who has ever come into my life. And I am just so excited that he's here right now. And I'll tell you, my audience that's listening in right now, this man here, Pascal, he literally changed my life for the better in every which way. And I fought it, and I fought it hard. But you know what? He is one of the most genuine, truthful, honest, beautiful people I have ever met on this planet. And there are not enough adjectives to say what I feel right there about my friend Pascal. So the fact that he's in our chat room tonight, I know, honestly, I am getting a little emotional just knowing that he's here. It feels good. It feels really good. He means the world to me.
Aww.
Yeah. He's the man.
He should call in.
He won't. One day when he's ready, I know he'll say it's time. But
I have a few of those that tell me that for interviews all the time.
He's amazing.
Someday.
He is amazing. Dee McKenna, good to see you. Mr. Cowley, welcome back to the show. Oh, Mr. Cowley loves his spaced out radio. Tony Dewhurst, good to see you, man. Nice to have you here. And who else has joined us late here? Triple M, Mr. Man, Mister, good to see you. And let's see here. Let's see here. Yeah, Pascal. I love the love you guys are showing for Pascal right now, man, because he is. War Eagle. War Eagle. He is the reason why I am doing this show. Well, one of the main reasons. Anya, much love to you, beautiful. How are you? Oh, there he is, the man with 18,462 podcasts, all running simultaneously on one channel, Sir Brian Bowden. How you doing, buddy? Look at this.
18,000?
Yeah, look at this nice compliment he gives you. Nicole brings out the best in the world of ufology because she is one of the top 10 in the field.
Aw, Sir Brian.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Thank you, man.
I would agree with that statement. The gorgeous and talented Jessica Lee has arrived. Stephen Edmond, good to see you. JR, thank you for coming on in. Ivy Smith, welcome back.
So here, Dave, I'm just going to flash this at you real quick.
Yeah.
That right there.
Is that a business card? Is that the official Nicole Sakach business card?
Well, no, but I can show you that. Here.
I didn't even see who that was.
Our good friend Andrew Hochheimer made these.
Oh, I love them. Love them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And yes, it's okay. I'm showing that information, people. That is how you contact me if you want me to.
If you want to talk woo,
check out stuff. If you want to just chat, UFOs and food. My two favorite topics. But no, remember I was so excited last weekend because my local ufology group / paranormal group was meeting for the first time live since COVID. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I also had an ulterior motive because this whole COVID year I've been waiting and waiting and waiting because I wanted to talk to a certain gentleman at that meeting about, you remember I was fascinated with the tree part of Bledsoe's story?
Yes.
And I was like, wow, tree, I want to dig into this and see if I can come up with other tree scenarios with, experiences. Well, lo and behold, in my local UFO group, I found one.
Nice.
And this gentleman's UFO manifested out of this tree in his backyard. And
hold that thought. We got to go here. Aussie Steve, Aussie Ange, Apollo, Flash, and Flash. Thank you for the super chats. Here we go with the second half hour. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are in this beautiful planet we call Earth. And we're going to open up the phones, so to speak, here on the show. So if you're in our chat room, you can click on the link and we will be able to hear your woo story. We want some woo. Before we bring Nicole back on, we want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show. We're here with Nicole Sakach, research assistant for Grant Cameron. You've heard her on many roundtables before. Here she is as the lone guest tonight. The lone guest. And what we're going to do, if you are in our YouTube chat tonight watching this, you know what? If you want to join us, we're going to put in the link. We want to hear your woo story. So I never do this. Everybody who listens to this show knows Old Davey never does this. Ever.
That's true.
So tonight is a special night. Try it on out just to see how it goes and see your response. I want to hear your woo story. So make sure you check it on out, and that way we can kind of chime along. Nicole, with your story that you had with the rocks and everything, how did that moment change you, on a personal level? Was it spiritual? Was it love? Was it weirdness? Was it skepticism? How did it change you?
It was all of the above, but I don't want to say it renewed like my perseverance, but it affirmed to me, because you kind of know this because we're friends, but you kind of know that I was catching a lot of flack from my nuts and bolts side of the community, and friends of mine that I still have a lot of friends, but they all wondered why I was diving into the rabbit holes I was diving into. And so in that moment and having that experience happen after, months and months of meditation and working these contact modalities, for it to come to fruition like that was a little bit affirming to me. And I wholeheartedly, I don't want to say I turned my back on nuts and bolts, like I'm not interested in it, but I know now that it is not the only avenue of research that I can pursue. I can't just close off the rest of this in ufology and just stay happy in that little tiny sliver of this community. I've spent, over 20 years in just that world. So, and these same people were wondering why I was talking with Palladians or wanting to meet channels. And, it's just very strange having to kind of defend why I wanted to research stuff. And then to experience, that level, it was affirming. And it was all those things you said as well. I said I've been taken aback this last year. I've still been processing, what actually happened. And I can't say it's, made me any less, in love with researching this, but I don't know. It's like with disclosure. I don't need government disclosure. I also don't think I'm going to get answers for myself definitively. I don't think I'm going to have that. I think whatever I'm doing is for my son or for the next generation, for future ufologists, however you want to put it. So I know that sounds a little depressing, but it also feels really good too. It's like I know I'm doing exactly what I need to be doing. So,
all right, let's go over to Game Vet here, who's coming on in to tell us a woo story. Game Vet, how are you?
Hi.
Hey, good. How you doing? Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
All right, here's a woo story for you if you've ever heard one before. Okay.
Remember, no swearing. No swearing.
Right. Okay, so I can totally relate to Nicole. I also saw on May 16th, 12:45 in the morning, I saw this teardrop-shaped thing coming at me, right? And it was lit up like orange and white and all sorts of different. And as it was coming by, all of a sudden I could see through it. It was whatever this craft was. It looked like, as it got close, it looked like a big, solid white light, like an LED light. And then inside this white light, it had little tiny black squares in it, like windows. Okay? And then as the thing got right along next to me, I could see through. It was actually projecting a fog. And the structure on top of this light, you could actually see it. The top of it had a glow around it. And it had, this fog or steam or something pumping out of it. And it was going around the entire craft.
Wow.
And it looked like it was totally flat. Like it looked like I call it an astro train because it looked like a locomotive that was flying in the air. It had no sound to it. And then just after that sighting, I realized a couple days later that we have a garden in the front of the house. And right where I was standing by the garden recording this thing. And I realized that there was actually a rock standing up on end. And it was gray with blue lines in it. And that night I was wearing a gray shirt with blue pants.
That's a nice little synchronicity.
Yeah, so then not only did I have that sighting, I guess there was a lot of people around the world had that same sighting that was recorded, and it's on YouTube all over the place.
Wow.
One of them was on a SETI ranch. And the guy is talking about the sighting, and it looks identical to my video. And he says there's a structure on top of it.
No way.
And this thing was it was like metallic. It looked like stainless steel, but it had a kind of a black tint to it. And it was just the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. But it had no sound whatsoever.
Had you seen a UFO before?
Yeah, I've been witnessing this stuff since '93. Back in '93, that's when it first started, and I saw what looked. Me and my buddy were camping. We were in a tent, and all of a sudden, a light turned on that lit up the whole tent brighter than daylight.
Wow.
And I said to my friend, I'm like, "What is that?" And he says, "I don't know." And then it happened again. And I mean, you could literally see I had my hand in front of my face, and I could almost see light smooth through my hand because it turned my hand like that red. Like if you hold a flashlight up to your hand, it turns red like that. That's how bright this was. And then it happened one more time. And I said, "Dude, I got to go outside and see what this is." And he says, "I don't know if that's a good idea." So I opened up the tent. I said, "I got to look." I said, if someone's going to beam us up or whatever, we're not in a good spot no matter what. I want to see what's out there. And he says, "Okay." So I go outside and the light turned on again. It was coming from the sky and it was stationary. And when the light turned on, everything for as far as the eye could see, it was like brighter than daylight. And it was like 1:30 in the morning.
No kidding.
So then the light shut off. Yeah, the light would slowly turn on and slowly turn off. It wasn't like sorry, I'm driving a semi right now.
Oh, can you honk your horn for us if you don't mind?
Sure. Hitting the horn for Dave Scott.
Yes. Yes. Love it. Love it.
So
did the light, did it hurt your eyes to see it?
Oh, it was so bright. I mean, you had to basically squint and, kind of, just shut your eyes real fast because it was so bright. And then the thing is the light turned on again, but then it wasn't in the same location. It was like in another part of the sky, and it would slowly turn on and turn off. And again, it lit up the whole area clear as daylight.
And do you remember how long that lasted for?
I don't know. I could guess probably, let's see, probably between 6 and 8 seconds from turning on to turning off.
Wow.
And then the lights would, flash back and forth. It probably lasted 4 minutes long doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And then just driving truck. I mean, I've seen, me and a coworker of mine, we witnessed those vet spheres. They look like stainless steel balls.
Yeah.
We saw 5 of them on the side of the road where the cops sit in between the 2 highways. He was like 15 to 20 minutes behind me, and I saw him on the side of the road. There was 3 on top, 2 on the bottom. They were evenly spaced in a straight line, and I thought I was seeing stuff. I'm like, that can't be right. I mean, you don't just see that. And it looked fake. What I was looking at looked like it was like a computer picture or something just sitting there. And I'm like, okay, well, that's weird, So I kept driving along. And then all of a sudden I got to my stop. I was sitting in the break room. And then my coworker, he comes in. He was driving along the same highway as me or whatever. And he was just stone-faced. And I said, "Are you okay, buddy?" He says, yeah, I'm okay. And then he goes to turn in his paperwork, sits next to me. And all I said was, "Did you happen to see anything tonight?" And he says, "Well, yeah, as a matter of fact, I did. I saw what looked like these stainless steel basketball-sized orb things. There's 3 on the top and 2 on the bottom hovering over the road. They were like 2.5 feet off the ground." Now, this guy, he races a top fuel dragster on the weekends. He's a race car driver, stuff like that. I haul hazmat, all sorts of different goofy stuff I haul, So, I mean, I'm a professional driver. He's a professional driver. We both witnessed this stuff. It's just ridiculous.
No kidding.
It is out there, man. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one day I want to bring on a bunch of truckers such as yourself and just have a show because you guys see so much on the road.
Honestly,
it's incredible what you see.
It's my daughter's having a sleepover with 5 of her friends, but I know just the place to go to get something for everybody. And just a little something for myself, too, meal. There's a meal for every moment on the McDonald's $1, $2, $3 menu.
Like a 4 for $4 deal. Get a McDouble and add 4-piece chicken McNuggets, small fries, and a medium soft drink for $4. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal.
What am I doing with this paper shredder? Well, now that C Spire offers no contract, $45 unlimited plan, I don't need to hold on to all these contracts. We're going to need a bigger paper shredder. Keep your number, skip the contract. With no contract, $45 unlimited. Terms and conditions apply. See cspire.com/no contract for plan details.
Yeah, I mean, I bought a dash cam and all sorts of different cameras just to pick, just to get this stuff on camera. And the crazy thing is I've seen two, what do you call it? They're light blue. I saw two light blue craft that actually buzzed my truck, and they were maybe a foot apart from each other, and they were huge, and they were just out of my my camera range where it didn't pick it up on camera. So there's a lot of instances where they're out there and I see it, but then the camera doesn't see it because it's just out of the camera range to pick it up.
I think that's almost purposeful.
Yeah, it's like, hi, I see you, you see me, bye-bye,
yeah. I love that part where you talked about it emanating like the mist or something. Like my teardrop, when it started doing that light show, it almost like it flared out like this almost sheer thing. And that thing is what was changing colors, because I went from having it on camera, and then when it disappeared after about 5 minutes, I put my camera down and it came back, and I grabbed my monocular and I was looking at it through that. And that's when I could see like the teardrop almost looked like a pinpoint, but this light flare thing was almost translucent. It was so crazy. Like, it was great.
Yeah, with the one I saw, I was using a Psionics camera, and that uses like infrared light, and it changes all the light spoofy colors like purple and whatever. So when I recorded mine, it actually, with the fog it was emitting and how the color was on the solid light, it actually turned it purple. So the light looked purple, and then it was going slow enough where I could record it with my cell phone camera. And then with the cell phone camera, it changed the light to like a gray color.
Wow. See, my cameras, on camera, it looked white, but my dialogue going with the video running, like, and my friends that were reporting in on that as they were seeing it too, like, with the naked eye, it was all colors. On my shitty camera, it was all white. So,
wow, that's weird.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, you could see it blink. You know what I mean? It just wasn't that defined light show. So,
Game Vet, thank you so much for calling in, man. Really do appreciate that. You continue to drive safe and let us know about those stories, okay?
Yeah, definitely. One more for the road, big guy.
Sure. Yes. That is just the best. That is the best right there. Game Vet, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. We're waiting for another person to come on in here and continue on here. We're just waiting. Their device isn't connected yet, so we got to try and get Aliens Visit here. We're waiting for you. While we're waiting, there's a question here from C.R. Ruan. I'm agnostic, the UFO question. However, Ms. Sakach and Grant Cameron are two of the most committed and comprehensive researchers in a field, and I'll leave it at that. So, this is the impact. I wanted to bring this up because this is the impact that you are having, Nicole, working with Grant and just getting your own feet out there to the public and bringing high-quality information out there. How do you go about deciphering what's good and what's bad?
I really don't think that's for me to decide. I mean, like I said, there's so many facets to this community that I think if you think you have an open mind, you need to open it even more, and just dive in and listen to what people have to say and where their work has led them. And, if they're an experiencer, of course, listen to their experience. I mean, we all talk about disclosure and government disclosure, and we're going to have answers, but there's, I think, a certain faction of us in this field that know that it's from the experiencers. Like, even the government is looking at experiencers. Like, they don't have answers. They're looking to our community. So I'm going to continue to look in our community and speak with experiencers because that's where it's at.
A lot of people out there, as we wait, 1 second, Alien Visits here. Beverly, I know you were trying to get in. For some reason, it was not connecting. Retry and get in here, and we'll get you on the show. But for people who don't know where to look for information, there's a lot of brilliant people out here in the UFO field, but they all have a different message. How do you go about deciphering which message is the proper one?
I think that's a personal thing for an individual. I mean, there's so many camps, and I think I said earlier, I like to network and make friends and build bridges, but I don't ever want to be, I'm in a clique or I only run with, the Palladians, things like that. Like, I think when you turn to people in the community in these, I want to maybe specialized little pockets, like let's say, let's use channeling for example. So if that kind of speaks to you and for some reason you want to start diving into that or finding out, it's pretty quickly that you come across maybe 3 or 4 names of these people are really big. And I think, I'm going to say Daryl, Anka always comes up, Bashar. So, I mean, once you kind of know the go-to and who has been around for decades and decades and hasn't been ran out on a rail or, they're not super controversial. In this fringe world, when you find somebody who's not controversial, that leads you to maybe pay attention to them more. But honestly, it's kind of like with boyfriends or relationships. When you get too many red flags looking into something, then stop looking into it. If it's not speaking to you, don't look into it. If it fascinates you and you want to learn more, keep diving in, and I haven't found a single facet in ufology that has made me go, that's it. And this is the only it. This is home. This is my family. It's always little snidbits. I can find a little bit that makes sense to me in this. I can, find something that has reminded me of something else so I can link it, and it's those little tiny baby steps. Like, you never get the whole answer. You get one word in a sentence.
I hear you. We're having some troubles with Bev in her connection there, trying to get in. Let's go to Max's question, as we got about 2.5 minutes here before we got to go to break at the top of the hour. Nicole Sakach is our guest tonight. Max is asking, is it possible that some of these transparent craft are actually portals?
I've come across that before where the transparency is either the craft can change or it truly is transparent, or you hear about this transparent light thing and then the craft do come through. So I can't say I rule it out or I would ever dare say, nope, they're not.
Well, that's the thing. You just can't rule anything out right now.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't, because
No.
everything is open. Because what you see, and what a lot of people don't understand, is what you see, Nicole, could be completely different from the experience that I'm having, and you and I are, say, side by side.
Right.
You may see a teardrop. I may see nothing in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's a big part of it, too, that people don't get. Like, that's not brought up a lot when you talk about mass sightings. Everybody thinks they're gold. You know, it's like, oh, man, how many people saw the Phoenix Lights? And yes, it's great. They all described the same thing. That's kind of rare. If you have 2 people, they're going to report seeing 2 different things. If you have 5, it's going to be 5 different things. I find it's often rare that everybody describes the same thing at once. Even my teardrop encounter, like some people said it wasn't really a teardrop. It was more of a sphere. You know, other people said it was like completely flat, like it didn't have like a 3D form. So, you know.
Absolutely. As we got about 39 seconds here. You know, it just amazes me how people can have such major experiences and everything can be absolutely different. Absolutely different. And, you know, we want to make sure that everyone gets their time. So I'm going to put the link back in our YouTube channel if you want to join us in hour 2. And if you're using a computer, make sure you're using either Firefox or the best one is Google Chrome in order to hook on up with our StreamYard link in order to connect with us if you want to share your woo story. Because we like the woo around here. Nicole's got woo. I've got woo. And I'm sure, well, we definitely know Game Vet, who is honking the trucker horn there, he's got the woo. He's got serious woo. And we love it. And we appreciate each and every one of you tuning on in as we continue on with Spaced Out Radio tonight, talking UFOs all night long, your stories as well. So sit back, relax. Hour 2 with the lovely and talented Nicole Sakach comes up next on the mighty SOR. All right, we are clear. And I'm going to be honest with you. You know, when Game Vet blew the horn a couple of times, I got excited. I really
love
did.
that. I
got
too.
excited. I'm not going to lie. That has made my entire day.
See, I thought it was just like a Midwest honky kind of thing. Like all of us as kids, it's like when we go out on the interstate.
Right?
We're like,
totally.
Do it!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That just excited me.
You know, my best story, my best sighting story that I was told from a truck driver was they were going through out west somewhere, I'll say Arizona. And you know how you see the power lines and it's like they have the red lights?
I'm going to run my dog, so you tell the audience. You can see the chat room, right?
No, I can't.
Okay, so if you go up in the right-hand corner, you'll see a little box that says comments.
Yeah.
Click on
and
that.
And then I will. Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So
you chat with them. I'll be right back.
This truck driver was driving down the highway and he thought he was seeing the power lines, like the big ones that have the red blinking lights on it. And so he said he kept noticing this one and thought, oh, well, that's strange, you know, because it seems like it's keeping pace with me. Well, he said, as he kept watching it, what he realized the road was going straight and it was coming and it crossed in front of the road in front of them and went off into the desert. That he said it was cigar shaped and on each end was the red light. So at a distance, it was with all the other power lines or power stations that he could see and it blended right in. And he said it just crossed and went away. And he said he just kept on driving. So they're good and they're out there. I think, you know, who better to watch the skies? The woo train is full tonight. Now that I can see the chat, everybody's in there. It's a good Tuesday. This night is making it feel like a Saturday now or Friday. So, Pascal, you're gonna have to join one of the round tables sometime. That's what I'm thinking. It came to me. Just, yep. Now you have to. Dave Altman, I was trying to lounge like you earlier. Like, let's see if I have this down. Oh, my camera's not low enough, but this looks totally comfortable. I know. I can't do it as cool as you, so I shouldn't try ever again. I won't. This is complete coffee in here. It's just now midnight here where I'm at, not in Canada. Thanks, Project Blue Book. It is comfortable. Like, I'm here a lot in this space. I've got to make it cushy. And, my day job, I never sit down. I walk around. I'm on my feet for 10 to 12 hours, sometimes 6 or 8 hours. Those are good days. But, yes, I never sit down all day. So this feels very weird to sit for a whole show. I'm in Illinois, Dale. Like not Chicago, Illinois, the rest of Illinois. I live in the rest. Solar Warden, I can drink coffee 24/7. Like, it just doesn't. It does help, but it doesn't stop me from sleeping if I want to sleep. St. Louis Blues fan, so I can't even say that team that's from Chicago, or I live an hour away from St. Louis. So when it comes to hockey, I root for the Blues, but when it comes to baseball, the Cardinals can Cub fan all the way.
All right. We are back. We got 1 minute.
Talking sports.
Are we?
Yep. The whole crew's in tonight. It's good.
Nice.
I'll be right back. I'm going to let my dog, do something.
All right, we got 1 minute. George Hernandez, how are you? Good to see you. Beverly, for some reason, you're still not being able to hook up here. Well, there you are.
Dave, this is Beverly. Can you hear me?
We got you, finally. Finally. Now you're not there. You disappeared. I don't know why. All right. Bob, we'll get to you momentarily here after we return from the break, so just sit tightly. Little Davey Altman is here, everyone. Give us a wave, Little Davey Altman. Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you, Anya, for the super chat.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Here we go with hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Thank you to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club, Quacoversial. Quaquiversial is your password. Use it wisely, space travelers, as the clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on tonight with Nicole Sakach. Everything UFOs tonight. Let's just talk about the subject because it is so amazing, this subject. And you know, Nicole, you are someone who is an experiencer, a beautiful researcher who does a lot of hard work. You're finally getting the recognition that you deserve in this field, if you ask me, and I will be the first one to say I may be a little biased on that, but I don't care. I don't care. And we are taking some audience calls tonight. And Beverly, you keep saying your device is not connected. I don't know what is going on with your connection. And we've had a couple other people call in, but they just got too antsy and left right away. So we'll continue on with the UFO talk here. YJ is asking, Nicole, how many aliens do you think are living among us in our society? And what types of positions in society do you think they hold?
Wow. I cannot say I have a definitive answer on that. I mean, you come across researcher and you come across, public figures in this community that say there's various different types of species, or even multiple races of the same species that are visiting us. And some people say there's 5, some people say there's, 10s and 20s and on up. So I feel pretty comfortable saying I believe there are grays out there. What grays are, I don't know. If they're aliens or if they're an android of some sorts or if they're future humans or, etc. But, you hear different accounts, reptilians, Pleiadians, other star children, Nordics. And I mean, one of my favorite people in this community that's so controversial, like Richard Doty, he talks about the Nordics and I always say this one wrong, but the Tarantulas. And I mean,
This is Gut for Popeyes. ISKI code YPDR069500. Titled Nuggets Radio EL, 30 Seconds English Radio.
After Popeyes launched its chicken sandwich...
2 words. Chicken Wars. It's the Chicken Wars.
At Popeyes, we're announcing that the chicken war is over.
We come in peace.
Because this time, we come in peace. 8-piece. Introducing our new nuggets. Juicy, crispy, and absolutely delicious. Try an 8-piece today for $3.99 and start earning points with Popeyes Rewards. U.S. only. Price and participation may vary. Popeyes Rewards available on digital orders only and subject to terms and conditions.
Unexpected trouble? CashNet USA can take the stress out of borrowing emergency funds. Our fast, secure application process makes it easy to apply online 24/7. Plus, CashNet USA offers same-day funding if approved before 10:30 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. Additional terms may apply. Visit cashnetusa.com or tap the banner to apply today.
I don't know. That's just a hard question. I wouldn't dare put a firm answer to it. I mean, like I said, you can come across research, and I don't think it can be discredited or thrown out. But I think a lot of it comes from experiencers too. I've talked to so many people who encounter a being that looks one way, and then throughout the course of their experiences or their abductions, the beings change, like turn into cartoon characters or an animal instead of an alien, or it's not a being, it's just a voice, or it's a light being. So I don't get hung up too much on how many different things are visiting us. I think the phenomenon can manifest however we need it to. So that's a good enough answer. That's my answer.
But you also have to be prepared for a lot of the rumors, conjecture, the really bad conspiracy theories, like, there are people in high places that are reptilians that are really running the world. The queen is only the age that she is because she's a reptilian who feeds off the blood of human children. That's where it gets a little dangerous out there so far, if you ask me, because I think that there are aliens among us. I think that they are here. If the humanoid species are out there, I'm sure that they would have an easy time walking around in certain places, whether it's in New York, Las Vegas, London, Paris, wherever. Maybe they have a farm on the outreaches of the big cities of Spain. I don't know, right? But the fact is, I do believe that there is some other extraterrestrial presence here on Earth. I think Robert Bigelow said it perfectly on 60 Minutes back in 2018, where he says, you don't have to go to space to see them. They're already here, right? So I think that is an important line on everything that we need to be able to look at when it comes to the extraterrestrial phenomena on this planet. And I don't think for a minute here that it is how can I put this? That it's not worthy of our understanding that they are not here. I think it's ignorant of us to think that, Nicole.
Well, that's something we argue the points of a lot these days, especially with, the problems that SETI has had lately. Why are we spending all this money to look into outer space for ET when, what are the statistics? I like saying Preston's statistic, 1 in 40 people have an experience or have a sighting. So that's enough people on this planet that you'd think we would look on this planet before we would look in, another galaxy. But as science evolves and minds stay open and new science is formed, I think these gaps tend to close a little bit. Like the Galileo project, it's promising because of the people involved in it being friendly to the community, but it could also just be a reboot of the search for life in space. And we all know what that leads to: microbes in water somewhere, not a visitor from somewhere else. Like, I don't know. And the other thing I often toy with, is in this search, if life's out there, is it now here? We have sent messages into space. How far is Voyager now? How far has the Golden Record made it? Like,
last I heard it was around Neptune.
That would work. Do we seriously? Have we just shit canned that idea? Like, oh, never gonna work. Never gonna work. I need to quit saying the S word. I'm sorry.
Yes, you do. You're causing me editing.
It's my kitchen mouth. I can't turn it off these days.
Nicole Sakach, Potty Mouth, is with us on Spaced Out Radio tonight. Bev, we're going to need you to turn your microphone on in order to hear you. So if you can do that, that would be great. And, okay, Bev's going to tell us her story right now. Go ahead, Bev. She can't hear us because she doesn't have her headphones on. All right. While we're waiting for Bev, the Lazarus Project is asking, what are your thoughts on the Anunnaki?
Maybe. I think we can find a lot of slivers of truth based on mythology, and I think insights into our culture and ancient culture can give us all sorts of ideas or clues. But I think in the end, we have to realize it's still an interpretation of something that happened thousands and thousands of years ago. I don't discount like the ancient alien theory at all. I do think our planet could have been visited or may have been visited or founded or created, or, I mean, the scenarios are endless. I don't think it's the only answer. Like, I think a lot of people find that ufology early on, when they're searching in this community. And a lot of them can get stuck at that level or just think that that's it. Like, is this what all ufologists think? Like, is this the Bible of ufology? And there's a lot more to it than just that. And yeah.
All right, let's continue on here with another question while we're waiting for Bev. Okay, let's see. No, Bev's going to come on. All right, there we go. We're just going to wait a second for her. There she is. I hope her mic is working. I don't even know if her mic is working. Oh, well, we're going to continue on here. Oh, hold on. We'll try that again. Here. Bev, are you there? Can you hear us? Oh, let's try. No, she's got her microphone on mute. Microphone is on mute. All right, while we're waiting for Bev.
What are your thoughts on the Anunnaki, Dave?
I think the Anunnaki are out there somewhere. I think that they play a more integral role than what we know. I don't believe there has been a lot of communication with them. All right, but I think if we go back, like Major League's question about extraterrestrials depicted in ancient art or cave paintings, true or false, I think we've seen evidence of that in, the ancient Egyptian and Mayan civilizations, where there seems to be some very weird hieroglyphics and cave paintings about extraterrestrials that could be around. I believe that the Anunnaki are an almost like an ancient race that have been here. I think they're still connected to the people here somehow. But what is their role? I have no idea. I don't know if they're good. I don't know if they're bad. I don't know if they sit on the fence and just watch things happen. Right? We just don't know. We do not know. What's your thoughts on cave paintings and all sorts of art like that? Major League wants to know.
I love that it can be interpreted that way. I just think it's beautiful, this diving into the art side of ufology and what inspires people to create what they see, and knowing that there's so many forms of that out there now. And obviously when you look into things like that, it makes you dive into the culture that made them as well. And I like the depictions that are out in the American West and the Southwest. I think a lot of them might be Hopi, if I'm remembering correctly. But just to know their connections and their lore within their culture of star beings, or I think of the Australian Aboriginals, and their connection to the heavens and things like that, things that have gone back culturally for thousands of years. I think that means something. I think they were representing something. And so if that can cross generations and speak to us now, then the message survived.
All right, let's see if Bev is here now, because we're trying it really hard to get one of our listeners, Bev, on the air here, because she has a pretty good story. Bev, can you hear us at all? And let's try now. I'm messaging her on here, so let's see if she'll be able to connect with us now. She's got a really good story. She's out of Vancouver. And no, she's muted. All right, Bev, come speak with us. Like we're all waiting on pins and needles for this.
Yeah, I'm ready to take notes.
I hear you. I just don't think we have a good connection. Bev, I'm going to have to let you go. We're going to have to work on that connection during the break, okay? So try again in just a little bit here. Let's get over to Nicola's question. Nicole, do you think we're contacted, but the government is just not telling us?
I think the government watches people in contact. So I don't think they'll admit it.
I don't think so. I think they are in contact too and won't admit it either. Let's go to Bob here. Bob, how you doing? Welcome to Spaced Out Radio.
Bob, is this working?
This is working.
Perfect. How are you guys feeling about the Fire in the Sky crew?
I completely believe Travis Walton. That's how I fall on these with this scenario. Like, I really, I had the feeling with this disclosure process happening, it's like, are we going to get a snippet of disclosure? Okay, we might, but then there could be the possibility of disinformation coming. And then the other possibility that was lurking is there's going to be assault on experiencers. Like, we could start being attacked or thrown under the bus again. And so when this family feud in Camp Walton started, arising, that was the first thing that jumped to my mind was we cannot be doing this to experiencers right now. Like, I don't know. I think time has already tested Travis Walton. So there is no reason for this nonsense.
I'm going to jump in here too, Mr. Bob, and I'm going to say that I believe that Travis Walton is telling the truth. His story has not changed in 45 years. He has come out very flagrant when things inaccurately have been told, like the movie Fire in the Sky, that he did not like the way it went because they put some more Hollywood into his experience than what was very necessary to do so. I also look at Mike Rogers, the man who was the head of the crew. It was his company, and at that time Travis was married to his younger sister, and Mike has always backed Travis up until recently, where it became a money issue. And that's where Mike all of a sudden, back in spring, threw out the comments that he was not going to be a witness to the Travis Walton abduction anymore. He didn't say that it didn't happen, but he said there was more to it that people didn't understand. And then he backtracked after him and Travis straightened things out in a very public spat, but they met privately, and then Mike started defending him. And in the meantime, Mike had already done a lot of the damage by going on different podcasts and slinging mud on Travis Walton. And that's kind of what caused a lot of the mishaps that we are seeing today. And so the fact that now we have a bunch of skeptics who are jumping on it, giving the I caught ya kind of BS that they normally do, rather than looking at what's been there, I don't think for a second that no matter what Travis Walton says, he's going to be the bad guy in this. If he sticks up for himself, he's the bad guy because he's obviously defending his false story to the skeptics. And if he doesn't say anything, the skeptics go, see, he's not saying anything because he is, telling a lie and hiding a lie. What do you think, Mr. Bob?
Now, you guys have got much more depth than I do on this. The reason I brought this up is I was going to bring up a woo story on when you guys were talking about the Southwest. And I was going to a trip. You're talking about the Hopi, the Navajo. And I was going to a trip going through, from Vegas, going across Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, right? And I'm driving through, I stayed on the reservation and Navajo, at Spider Rock, overseeing the Spider Rock monument there. But on the way back from Albuquerque, I'll go down. Actually, before that, I tried to go across and to just go get the vibe in, is it Dulce, New Mexico?
Yep.
And just to go get the vibe on there. And that didn't feel that great trying to go up there and going through Los Alamos and trying to feel the vibe there. But as I was looking for a place to stay in Los Alamos, I'm driving down and I hear this voice and whispering in my ears, and it says Snowflake. So here I am looking around for a hotel called Snowflake in Los Alamos. Go down, I think it was Santa Fe, headed down to Santa Fe, started looking, could not find it. Great. I'm in there to get a place to stay. And as I'm going across, going to see the big dishes there in, I think it's Socorro, where they have the dishes pointed up. Going part of the trip, go and take a look at it there. Then I decided to come back across to, Arizona? And at some point, I'm looking on the map, and I'm doing this freestyle. I'm going, okay, I've got two ways I can go back here. I can go this route or that route. My fingers are moving up on the map, and all of a sudden, I see this place on one of the routes. It's called Snowflake. So I head down this way, and I'll keep the story short because there's a lot more that happened there. But I head down to Snowflake. I meet some very interesting people. Have a few adventures there, and then head back. A year or 2 years later, ended up watching the movie Fire in the Sky again. And it turns out that it's in Snowflake, Arizona, of all places. I'm not sure if you guys remember that, but
yes,
that's so that's my woo story, in a sense. And if you want to use that to bring any type of validity to anything happening here, this might just be something there. So, Dave, I see the sparkle in your eye there. That's
yes.
my woo story.
Something tells me, Mr. Bob, you have a few more woo stories that you could openly share if you wanted to.
Yeah, and like I typed in there, I will do a little video for your crew, for on the energy side, so that they can use that to work on their own energy, because a lot of what you're perceiving, a lot of what you're receiving, a lot of what you're connecting with when you're having these encounters is through your energy body. And that's exactly why, as you were mentioning earlier, you could be standing side by side with somebody and you're having a different experience, because the resonance and what you're able to perceive depends on what is happening with your energy body, right? You see these lights, you see these shapes. Well, it all depends on what you've got that's resonating with this in your own energy field, right? They are all a lot of energy.
Mr. Bob, you hold on right there. I want you to stick around if you want. Nicole Sakach is here. Let's talk UFOs all night long as we have a great show planned here. And we're letting the audience come in and tell us their stories as well. Spaced Out Radio continues right after this. Hi, Mr. Bob.
Hi, Mr. Bob. Sorry, Beverly.
Beverly's going to come back in. But Mr. Bob.
I just wanted to make sure this worked, and I'm not sure what kind of trouble you're having with Beverly there.
Oh, no, it's working perfectly. You're more than welcome to stick around because you're kind of important.
It is getting late.
I know. Your famous words. When it's like, it's up to you.
It's so late, my contacts are like, get out of your eyeballs right now. It's either that or I'm crying over Dave Altman because I can't lounge as good as he does.
Wow. Went there.
So this is happening on YouTube right now, Dave, and you're having a commercial break on the other streams?
On the radio streams, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Bob, Are you going to tell everybody how difficult of a student I was for you?
Was it doctor-patient privilege type thing?
I think he just signed the consent for release.
No.
You are. I'm going to say this. Mr. Bob is actually. I recognize the voice is my beautiful friend Pascal, and Pascal, I meant I mean every word that I said about you there, my friend, and you were.
I told him he needs to join the round table.
Pascal, it's funny, Pascal, because the more bigger you get in this field and the bigger the show gets, a lot of people start.
You're floating on a creamy peanut butter river in a chocolate raft. Is this paradise? This is what biting into a Think creamy peanut butter high protein bar feels like. Fuel your life, power your body. Think. Stand for strong.
What am I doing with this paper shredder? Well, now that C Spire offers no contract, $45 unlimited plan, I don't need to hold on to all these contracts. We're going to need a bigger paper shredder. Keep your number, skip the contract. With no contract, $45 unlimited. Terms and conditions apply. See cspire.com/no contract for plan details.
Calling out a lot of your adventures, a lot of your experiences, a lot of everything as being fake to gain an audience. And you were there for a lot of those experiences and that I had and that I had no understanding or control over at that time. And the fact
it's a lot about personal experience, Dave, right? You can't you can't really force anybody to believe a viewpoint. All you can do is help them to have that experience, and that's what I do with the energy work, right? Is slowly lead them to, okay, well, you want to have these experiences, here's what you can do to achieve that in a safe way.
Very true. Very true. And you've worked personally with me, you've worked with Samantha Mowat, who absolutely adores you as well. And you've worked with a lot of really good people on this, and it is your true calling. But you know what my best experience with you was? One of the best ones, and that I still can't shake and want to do it again, was when we did the dark room. When we brought we brought in that we literally had, Nicole, a solar system hovering above us in this completely dark room, and you would see these little specks of orbs take off from this solar system that is literally rotating. It was amazing.
I'm trying to remember, and I won't mention any name, but I think your wife was there with you, right?
Not the first two times.
No.
So it's like a dark room with your own planetarium action going on, right?
You could not. It was so black you could not see your hand in front of your face.
That's great. Yeah. I almost painted this room that color of black, but I went with charcoal gray instead.
People do it in different ways, but it's basically to shut off the senses so that your third eye can take over and you can start seeing and feeling the energy, right?
Yeah. That's a part of, I won't name drop, but some people who are having the experience via psychedelics, or even it's a part of sitting circles and seances and physical mediumship. It's something about the atmosphere of complete, absolute darkness,
right,
and that third eye. So
it's incredible.
Yeah, the issues that I've got with the psychedelics and the drugs a bit is that it opens it up, but then you have some issues closing it. Right, it kind of goes outside of your control, so you got to be really, really, really careful and working with somebody who really, really, really knows what they're doing with that.
I think the question I have posed right now, or that's lingering concerning the psychedelics, is like you just mentioned. It's like once it's on, are you more susceptible, or is it the fact that you can't turn it off?
If you do it the natural way, you've got more control over it. So you become aware of the different currents.
Hold on, Pascal. Do you want to stick around?
You tell me.
We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Really do appreciate earning your listening ears. Want to remind you that if you have missed portions of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show. We continue on tonight with Let's Talk UFOs. Let us get right into the subject, and Nicole Sakach is with us. She is a research assistant for Grant Camlin, one of the brilliant new minds on the UFO field. And we also have a special guest here, which is a friend of mine who has never, ever talked to me on this show. And this is a man who is so important to me. His name is Pascal, and he literally is my spiritual guru, my Zen master, and my mentor in this field that deals with everything supernatural and ufological. Pascal, Nicole, welcome back.
Dave, thank you. Pascal, I'm so glad you're here.
Hey, Dave, I think you give me too much credit.
Nope.
But, yes. So, I can give you another woo story if you want.
Sure.
Bring it.
And I don't know if you consider this UFO or spirit or what, but about 10 years ago, I was in somewhere else at that point, and my girlfriend at the time was open to energy work, and she was very sensitive and able to perceive things. Anyways, at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, all of a sudden, I get woken up by screaming like bloody murder. She was on the bed, on all fours, looking around like there was a monster on the ground somewhere or something. And all that after she stopped screaming, she told me she saw this big blue ball of light hovering over the bed. And I guess she got woken up by the sensation, and kind of you feel that something is there, and she started screaming. So you wake up, you're half awake, and she's basically telling me, what happened. And I go, oh, that's okay. They come around once in a while. Just go back to bed. Well, that didn't work. But that's the type of experience people can have once they start opening up, right? Is they will get these things happening to them.
Very true. Pascal is also the one who helped me learn how to control my channeling.
Ooh.
Yes. He took me to some pretty weird places regarding the aliens. He's the one who told me point blank, by the way, my guides, Dave, are telling you that we got to introduce you to some extraterrestrials and ETs, as he called them. And I'm like, nope, I don't want to go there. Do not want to go there whatsoever. Yet you forced me to do it, or you made me brave to do it. I'm going to put it that way, Pascal. You made me brave to do it.
Nice. And now here you are, and look at everything that's happened.
Yeah. Right. Now I get abducted. Thanks, buddy.
No, now you know.
Yeah, now I know I've been. Pascal, Steve in Australia says, I need to know more about you and your energy work. I practiced this already, but you sound like you could really amp up his vibe.
Ooh.
So the energy work is very simple, right? You can think of it as when you go to the gym, you do a workout and you get to feel kind of what parts of the body you need to work out. right? So if you go to the gym and you try running 100 miles an hour on a treadmill, guess what? Your knees, your legs, everything's going to say, hey, you need some practice, you need some work, right? In the energy work, it's all about the amount of energy that you can carry and channel, right? There's like what level of flow can you be in? And what the type of work I do with most people is we basically, and I think I did this with you, Dave, is we basically amp up the energy. So between me and you, we work together and we bring up the energy and we just let it rip through your system, gently enough, and then we keep pushing and pushing and pushing until we start feeling where the friction is, right? And then that tells me, okay, you got different areas here that need to be worked on. We work on them. The releases happen. A lot of times there's emotional stuff that comes out. And then guess what? After that, you are able to carry more energy, right? You're able to do a bigger workout. Now, this, if you look at a car and you're driving your 1977 Chevette down the road, and you drive it at 40 kilometers an hour or 40 miles an hour, it's not bad. But if all of a sudden you start driving it at 160 kilometers an hour or 120 miles per hour, guess what? You're going to start feeling every rattle in the car. It's pretty much the same thing, right? We look at what rattles, we fix it up, and then we send you on your way so that you can use that extra energy, your gifts, for whatever your path, your purpose, your direction is. That's pretty much all that is. And what helps me do that is the ability to be more sensitive and be able to tune in to what is going on in your field as we're doing this. So I get to feel in my body exactly what's going on in your field. And from that, I'm able to guide you to say, hey, what do you feel over here? Like, Nicole, what do you feel in your neck, on the back of the neck, right? What do you feel there that there's a pressure happening there? And as I work with people, right, putting their attention on that, then they become able to do this work themselves and self-tune and self-work, right? So, Nicole, your whole neck on the right side, I think it's the right side. Sometimes it's mirrored, but the whole neck on the right side is like, right? What's there? So what happens is that energy body.
Are you for real on that? I gotta interject because it is totally like crazy.
Yeah. So I am for real. I'm feeling your energy here. So and what that is that's the energy body, right? Now the physical body, there's the physical, etheric, astral, blah 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 blah. Everybody's got their system, but there's physical and then there's energy, right? At the basic level. The physical body needs two things to work. It needs the nutrients and the physical, right? But it also needs the electrical. And the electrical, if you think of it as the energy body, if you have some blockages in any of these lines, energy lines or chakras or whatever you want to call them, it will start also impacting your physical body because your physical mass will not have the electricity to run. Think of it as maybe spark plugs. So it impacts the physical, but for me, I'm able to feel for, practice, gifts, whatever, I'm able to feel what's going on into the energy body. And by working on that, it can help on the health side, if you believe that it impacts the physical body, but it also helps with this type of stuff, the ability to receive more, because we think with our brains, okay, but the brain is really kind of like the radio receiver for the rest of the energy body, and you really think with your soul, with your energy body. So you can think of,
where'd he go?
That's interesting. My mute just turned on by itself.
Weird.
You can think of, we have mental blocks about things, or there's some things that are tougher for us to think about or to go into, either thought-wise or emotion-wise, and it's all based on this configuration. So I'm not sure how we got here, but here's where we are. That's what I do is I work on the energy body that way. And then everybody brings in different gifts, either from their own past lives, or their own karma or destiny, right? And you can think of me as, hey, here's what I'm doing is I'm basically cleaning your windshield so you can see where you need to go. And I'm just really, really good at it based on, what I've done in the past and what I've studied and what I've practiced.
Beautiful. That was awesome. I was like, is he really talking about my shoulder? He is.
So I guess I can take a look there. It's the shoulder, but it also goes up all the way to the neck, all the way under the jawbone. And it's just very tight on the energy there. So that could be physical. That could be purely physical. But a lot of times the physical stuff manifests based on things that are in the energy body. And I can feel that. Now, can you feel that as I am sensing it?
I don't like it. I can't say quite tingly, but I'm very aware of this right now. So
I'm going to get you to do something with me here if you want.
Sure, let's do this.
Okay. So
do I have to stretch out?
No. It's about, and this might give an idea to so many people, and I kind of lost track of the chat here. So all I want you to do is, the tightness right now is from about the collarbone all the way to your jaw, below your jaw, and just breathe into it. And when I say breathe into it, do you understand what I mean?
I think so. Just like deep cleansing breaths, like meditating breaths. Yeah.
And as you breathe in, just visualize white light. That's a great way to focus. And send it to the area as you breathe in. So imagine you're breathing in from a light and send it all in that area that is hurting there. Or I call it hurting. It's tense. And as you do that, you're basically putting the awareness, concentrating your energy in that area. And you're basically doing an energy massage to that piece to see if there's anything that is ready to come out, is ready to flow. And what will happen as you do this, and right now I can feel it dissipating a bit. I'm not sure if you're feeling the same thing, but as you're breathing into it, it's kind of mellowing out. And some of the things that happen when you do this is it will either mellow out, right? And it'll be like a simple one. And then the energy will start flowing more. And then the throat, it's typically about communication, willpower, standing up for yourself, that type of stuff, right? On the right side, it's more about the mental than the emotional, so thought constructs and so on. And now it's back. So did you feel that shift? And it kind of went away for a bit?
It came up here, like, anytime you say focus on a white light, it's like it goes bloop on the top of my head. And
yeah. So this is the type of work that I do with people is, in doing this, I help you focus and I help you understand where these spots are. And right now it's back with a vengeance for some whatever reason. So my advice to you is tonight, tomorrow, practice that in some meditation, just breathing into it and see what comes up. Typically, it will flatten out, it will smooth out, and things will get better. Some emotions might come up, some tears might come up. I had one woman come into my place and we did a session and she could not stop coughing for an hour. For an hour, she just, as we did this, that release was the coughing. Some people tear, some people laugh. That's the weirdest one. It's like, okay.
I might have had that one before, yeah.
Some people get angry.
Some people do get angry. But you get some tougher pieces And I think you guys want to know about this, or
yeah, bring it on.
Because I just keep talking here.
Keep going.
And I can keep talking about this. Very similar to Monique, which I think you've had on your show
Long
a few
time
times.
ago.
Yeah, she might be due for a return if you guys are up for it and she's up for it.
I-
But sometimes what happens is it's almost like pushing or trying to pop a zit or something. You have to breathe more and more, and it gets tougher and tougher, and it takes more and more to put it in. But then all of a sudden, it'll get really hot. Well, it'll feel like acid. It'll feel like it's burning. That is great. If you're able to stand it to that level, it means you're really going deep. You're going deep into something that, you're obviously able to release now. And if you get these things through the different energy centers in your body, you're able to release them, you will notice the difference. You will have different experiences. That part of your body might get better. The main thing that is happening there, it's a lot about emotions, and a lot of what happened between 7 to 14. I think we went through this.
Yes.
Right? A lot of what happened between 7 to 14, because from 7 to 14, the brain is not really kicking in. And I call it the brain, but there's some energy stuff involved. But the brain is not really kicking in, so everything goes to the heart. You feel it, you cry it goes in, right? You feel the pain. But then, when you're 13, 14, around puberty, the mind kicks in, the ego kicks in and says, oh, that's kid stuff. But guess what? A lot of stuff that, shapes who you're going to be is the stuff that happened between 7 to 14. The astral body is kind of poured during that time. So that's what it does. Where was I going with this?
That's great. I don't know, but tell me about energy that you feel in your palms, in your hands, because I get that often. I've been trying to pay attention to these, I call them experiencer symptoms, but often when I meditate, it's like the center of my right hand will just feel like it's on fire.
There are chakras in the hands, right? And these are the ways to send energy and work with energy once it has gone through the heart.
Okay.
And a lot of people have blockages in the heart, which if you do a similar exercise and you breathe there, you'll see if you feel pressure, right? But once these open up, this is how you can start working with energy, is the hand chakras, as well as receiving, right? So you can receive from other people if there are other people either in the physical or in the astral that are connecting with you on the energy level. You will feel some things here. Similarly, there are chakras in the back where you're, what do you call these things?
It's my daughter's having a sleepover with 5 of her friends, but I know just the place to go to get something for everybody and just a little something for myself too meal. There's a meal for every moment on the McDonald's $1, $2, $3 menu.
Like a 4 for $4 deal. Get a McDouble and add 4-piece chicken McNuggets, small fries, and a medium soft drink for $4. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal.
What am I doing with this paper shredder? Well, now that C Spire offers no contract, $45 unlimited plan, I don't need to hold on to all these contracts. We're going to need a bigger paper shredder. Keep your number, skip the contract. With no contract, $45 unlimited. Terms and conditions apply. See cspire.com/no contract for plan details.
I guess your shoulders are, but in the back. And a lot of times when they open up, that's what some energy workers or light workers or people call angel wings, because they see the energy coming out of there, and it's when you look into energy, it's kind of like seeing like hot pavement, and you see kind of the flow, and depending on how much you have, that you can see, then you'll see colors and all that as well. So yeah, the hands is part of that system.
Oh, wow.
But one of the pieces that I wanted to get to, which I think is important for people to know, is that some of that pain that we go through when we're younger, or not so young sometimes, is we package it up in a layer of anger, in a sense. So it's kind of like you take that pain, you put it in a little suitcase, and on that suitcase it says, never, ever, ever, ever open that suitcase because I never, ever, ever, ever want to feel this again, right? And it gets stored somewhere in your energy body. And then when you start having a similar event, something that resonates with, I don't know, your father used to yell at you because you didn't have the kitchen counter clean, whatever it is, right? Anything that starts resonating to that, or you don't have the answer fast enough, then you start getting nervous because it starts getting to that package that you said, I never, ever, ever want to open again. That is that anger as well. So people get teary, people get angry. But if in doing this work, if you're able to get through those, that is what's going to open up the doors. Okay?
Right.
A lot of people say, yeah, I want to do this, but I won't do that. Okay, well, all right.
Well,
so
and
we
I
can do
think
a little bit.
this is where Grant and I often talk that this is so much of an inner journey. You know, it starts off as an outward journey looking for something in the sky, but then it turns into this inward journey that you do with yourself, and as you interact with the phenomenon, you even get lessons, and you have to go through these steps and you learn your lessons. And a lot of it is, killing your own ego, and you might have to repeat lessons and things like that. But this is so fascinating to me. I think I could, how many hours do we have left, Dave? An hour? We got an hour to go.
We have an hour.
Call it the Pascal show. He's owning the night.
The main thing is you can't really prove anything to anybody, right? You can never, force a proof of anything, because in the energy world, if you try that, it's the same as hitting them with a stick. It doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It does not work. If you look at it more in that you're trying to help people, if somebody doesn't want your help, you're just going to walk away and say, hey, if you walk up to somebody in the street and you say, hey, do you want a can of Coke? And the guy says no. You say, okay, you just walk away. You're not invested into it. However, a lot of times we're trying to prove what we believe to ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we want them to believe. But if you look at trying to or setting this up as you're trying to help people, then a few things will happen. The people that need the help will show up.
Mm-hmm.
And you will receive the help. You will receive the help from many different places. And if you could see what that is. And I'm getting goosebumps here. I'm not sure if you guys are feeling that. Sometimes other people feel it as well. But when you set it up as opposed to I'm going to prove or I'm going to force, but yeah, I'm just going to try to help.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get so much help. I had one woman once text me out of the blue. We were friends on Facebook or something, and I was in Ottawa. Nobody knew I was in Ottawa. And she texted me, "Are you in Ottawa?" I go, "What? Like, who's watching me here from my phone? Like, what's going on here?" Anyways, that text led to meeting, doing some energy work, and major release work that needed to happen that changed their life. It's one of the stories that I'm going to put on my website here once, I finally do it up. But yeah, the people that need help will show up, but you're not trying to prove anything. You're not trying to build anything. Just like, I'll share my story with you.
Yeah.
Well, my friends, we are going to go to break here at the top of the hour. Pascal, thank you for coming on. If you want to hang out, you're more than welcome to, Pascal. You have an open ticket.
I think I'm going to drop now, Dave.
We need to be Facebook friends.
This was this was good, Dave. I was just trying to call in to see if the microphone thing was working so that you can get Bev on.
Yeah, well, we're trying to get Bev on, but Pascal, much love to you, and thank you for helping Nicole out there. And we will talk to you all soon, because hour number 3 is right around the corner. One of these days, we're going to get Bev on. That's the goal tonight. We're going to get Bev on. And we may bring out the Magic 8 Ball as well in hour 3 of Spaced Out Radio. Coming up next. All right, we're clear.
This is what I have to say real quick. Every time I hear the name Beverly, I think of Beverly D'Angelo in the original Vacation.
Oh, love it.
In the bathroom scene where she's dancing with the towel.
Oh, yeah. All right. Bev, can you hear us?
Bev's going to come on, and I picture the towel.
Pascal does not have a link that we could go to, but not yet, no.
No, that will come. We'll let you guys know.
Bev, can you, since you can hear us, can you try talking? All right, Pascal, we're going to let you go, okay, buddy?
See ya.
Thank you, bud.
All right, bye.
Much love.
Pascal.
See ya.
Bye. All right, Bev, I'm not hearing you at all. We may have to cancel this for tonight and figure it out for next time, Bev. Come on, Bev, you can do it. All right, my dear, I'm going to let you go here. We'll be right back, people. I'll be right back. Nicole, I'll leave you up here just in case you want to come say hi to people. I'll be right back, people. Be right back. Dave Scott, Spaced Out Radio. Be right back.
I'll be back. I'm not Dave Scott. This is still Spaced Out Radio. Hi, YouTube chat. I thought I could share this with you guys because I know a lot of you talk books with me when we're in other chat rooms. But I just got this really, really awesome book, UFO Drawings from the National Archives by David Clark. It's so cool. Here. Like, it's got all these great sketches from the British National Archives. But it's like sketches of encounters or drawings, renditions. I really like this one because it's colorful. But it's a triangle with like this rainbow streak behind it. It's crazy. And here we were talking teardrops. There's one, or they call them flying eggs. This book is really neat. It was kind of on the pricey side, but I bought it anyways because I had to have it. And here's one. I know this one has shown up all over the internet, like off and on over the years, but it's that one. It was a picture taken of a little girl. And then when they developed it, there was the spaceman behind her. Which that's so crazy. But to read, the official report on this is just fascinating too, like what makes it into the archive. Some of these were even proven to be, they found out that they were known objects, so UFOs became UFOs. But And I know we've all seen this one and wondered, like, where did this official chart came from? Who made it up? There she is. It's in the archive.
Hi, John Balderman.
I'm talking books, Dave.
Nice.
I know, it's so exciting, but
nice.
I have a confession to make. I gotta confess to the whole YouTube world right now. I bought my first Dolan.
Uh-oh. You really fell for it.
My very first Dolan. I bought a Dolan. I've never read a Dolan before.
All right. We do want to take more calls. Okay, so I'm going to put the link in here. Gnome Squatch, how you doing? Good to see you guys.
The Bezos rocket did not look like a triangle. It looked like something else that I'm not going to say.
Let's just be honest.
There.
It looked like a pecker.
Yes, seriously.
All right. Hey, welcome Nickster from Australia. How you doing? Welcome to the channel. And yeah. All right. I'm gonna put the link in here. J Fox Hunter, good to see you. So if anybody wants to call on in, make sure you're using Google Chrome if you're not on your phone, and we'd appreciate that. We'll continue on. We got like 30 seconds. Has anybody ever noticed that Jeff Bezos looks like Dr. Evil? The gorgeous and talented Jean Beckett has arrived. There she is, everybody. Give her a wave.
Did you get your pink book yet, Dave?
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is underway tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Thank you to everyone tuning in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on TalkStream Live, Revolution Radio, and KPNL. All of our archives are free by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Quaquaversial. Quaquaversial is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. Let's talk UFOs. We've been doing it all night long, sharing some of your experiences along with our guest tonight, Nicole Sakach, who's a research assistant with Grant Cameron. And you know what? We're going to go right to the calling board here. Chefist is here. Chefist, what's going on? Chefist, we can't hear you. That's 2 tonight.
It is.
That's 2 tonight. You know, I finally be the guy who opens up the
Good evening.
lines.
How's everyone doing?
Oh, there he is. There's Chefist. How's your mustache, Chefist?
I have my audio on. It says I'm live.
You are.
So.
Welcome. Greetings. We lost Chefist again.
I don't understand. I don't understand what is going on with our audio tonight.
Thank you. There appears to be a delay.
Tell us your story, Chefist. We want to hear your woo. That is a big delay. Wonderful delay. Oh, he's gone. That's too bad. I wanted to hear his woo.
I could sense there was woo.
There was total woo. You never know with Chefist if it's going to be woo from him or his mustache.
Wow.
You never know. You never know. While we're here, we have a question from Nikki.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just trying to scroll. Dave, is it only UFOs or ghosts, spirits, and cryptids? I want to stick with the UFO aspect tonight, Nikki. UFO aliens, because that's kind of what we're chatting about tonight.
I was going to comment to Nikki, too. She said she's seen a similar chart to the one I hung up or flashed. An Oxford-based UFO group in the UK came up with this chart, and it kind of ties into our earlier question, whoever asked how many species are visiting. And it says here, the MOD concluded that it was necessary to allow for the possibility that 2 or more quite different races of UFOnauts are currently visiting Earth. So the MOD says 2 or more.
Sophia in the chat room said, this is one of the best shows I've seen yet. Loving it from Vegas. Open the border.
Woo!
Open the border. Yes, hurry up and open the border so we can have our spaced out radio party in Las Vegas. That is what we are aiming for and what we want. Nicole, with UFOs right now, I mean, people are seeing these left, right, and center, and, more people than ever, because of the news that is going out, are spending time staring up at the sky, trying to figure out what it is they are seeing. How should people look for UFOs? This is an all-important question, because with the amount of drones, the amount of satellites, the amount of everything that is out there, I mean, it's tough to be able to tell if you're not used to seeing UFOs.
Well, this is something that has gotten easier and easier over the years, especially with apps that you can find on phones now. I mean, the Heavens Above is a great one. The other satellite tracking apps, or the ones that identify stars or constellations or heavenly bodies that are moving through the area. And there's ones that even track like ISIS and other known space junk. And after you spend time, you can really tell how these things maneuver and how they traverse the sky. So even if you're seeing ones that don't show up on apps, because, I mean, we can't lie, there's black satellites up there that aren't going to be on Heavens Above or other Android or iPhone apps, but they're all useful tools. And I can only say that you don't have to stay out all night long. Like, once you learn, like, the peak hours that sightings usually happen in, which is, like, right in those dusk hours at sunset or right before sunrise. It's not really the dead of night, midnight, things like that, so you can kind of be consistent with when you watch. And I think kind of on the experiencer side of advice that I would give is me, after years of buying tech and getting cameras and thinking that I had to have like 3 versions set up all the time. And I worried about those things. And I also blew out a lot of equipment like that, and it would just not work. And it was frustrating. And so I stopped doing all that. I went low tech, binoculars, the cameras I had that didn't malfunction anymore. The cell phone, I made sure I had tripods, things like that to steady. But good old binoculars or a monocular, and just really knowing like your frames of reference for the areas that you go in. But most importantly, above all of that, not to directly quote Whitley Strieber's book title or anything, but it is, or it does become almost a communion. Like when I skywatch, it almost feels like that feeling I get when I go into a church or a mosque. And I think so, if you have an open heart and an open mind while you're skywatching, things can happen. So
very true. We have the lovely and talented Jules coming on, and she is going to tell us a woo story. Now, from what I have heard from Science Bob McGuire, Jules is an incredible remote viewer as well.
Ooh.
Gorgeous Jules, how are you? Why are we getting this delay? There's a delay on her, too. I don't understand this.
Tech support.
Yeah, where is tech support when you need it?
Tech support.
Who's this guy running the audio board that can't get our people on?
Everyone's experienced the pain of dropped calls and internet outages, especially working remotely this last year. So here's the question. If you're the telco company, how do you help create better experiences for customers? Simple. ServiceNow digital workflows can help solve network problems faster and provide real-time status updates so customers aren't left in the dark. That's probably why ServiceNow workflows have helped telco companies see an increase in customer satisfaction. But proactive customer communication's only half the battle. With a single view of your back, middle, and front office operations, ServiceNow workflows also eliminate silos, keeping teams more in sync and more productive. With our scalable services, companies assure a better experience for both customers and employees on a single platform, the Now Platform. So how do you help provide a better network experience for customers? With ServiceNow for telecommunications to help streamline network operations. Whatever your business is facing, let's workflow it. ServiceNow.
What am I doing with this paper shredder? Well, now that C Spire offers no contract, $45 unlimited plan, I don't need to hold on to all these contracts. We're going to need a bigger paper shredder. Keep your number, skip the contract. With no contract, $45 unlimited. Terms and conditions apply. See cspire.com/no contract for plan details.
On time. This is weird.
You know that film Vanilla Sky? That's like my favorite line from that. When he finally figures out that he's like stuck in a lucid dream and he's screaming for tech support.
I have never had this happen on StreamYard before. Ever. This is so weird. It's new to me because they should be able to just come on and speak just like you and I are right now.
I agree. And you know what I'll say, though? Like, you and Grant were teasing me pretty hardcore when I was having this problem, for months and months. And then it attacked Grant, and it might be your turn now, Dave.
Maybe. I don't know. Jules, if you could hear us, we cannot hear you. This is like 4 calls. Maybe this is the universe telling me that I am not supposed to take phone calls.
I don't know. Maybe you need to redo the link in the chat. Drop a new link.
Well, the link is the link for the show. Let's see.
Right.
I don't know what is going on here, but it's weird. It's very, very weird that we are experiencing this tonight. So, Jules, we're going to have to put you back on hold. Let's see if it works for Nikki here. Let's see what happens here. And we'll bring in Nikki here. Nikki, can you hear us okay?
I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're sounding perfectly. I don't know why other people are having an issue here. It's nice to have you here, Nikki. What's going on?
Well, I've been wondering if Nicola's had any reports of witnesses who have seen gigantic mothership-style rectangular ET ships.
The rectangle ships?
Yeah.
Well, that one's tricky for me because there's a mass sighting that took place in Illinois, and everybody calls it the triangle sightings. and they kind of happened close to my area. I'm about 40 miles away. And this particular sighting was awesome because it was reported in by several police officers in small towns that were pretty much watching it travel from town to town to town. And they were on their radios talking, the whole time. And there's audio of this that has come out. And the sighting's great until you read some of the individual accounts, which you could see how a triangle from a certain angle would be reported as a rectangle flight, floating. So I know there is also the shape-shifting factor of, I have come across a lot of reports where it goes from like a diamond shape to maybe more of a square or a rectangle or even into like an orb. So those I think are interesting too. Like I have a few friends that report these ones that almost mimic a goldish amber star. And then they've turned into all sorts of crazy shapes. Like what is it? Like the decahedron where it's like the 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have heard all shapes. The rectangles, I mean, I could refer to like Cheryl Costa's awesome book, Cheryl and Linda's Costa's pink book and white book. I mean, they have shapes. And this book I flashed up from the National Archives, it has a bunch of shapes listed. And, I mean, I think over and over again, like, it just goes to show that no two are exactly the same, or it's very rare that the sightings match up to where you're like, yep, that was the exact same craft. Even with all the triangle witnesses that I have spoken to, and Dave, you were a part of that, like, not every single triangle description is the same, but they're close. So
yeah,
it's great.
I would agree.
See, that's fascinating to me. I mean, truly, as a child, I've been on a ship, and I remember it. I remember the outside of what it looked like. I remember what the inside looked like. I remember having my hand on a window. A lot of people have heard me talk about that one, where my hand, literally behind my hand on the window, it wasn't a window, it was an energy field, which is what I found out later, turned blue. So I've got a lot of that kind of stuff, but actually remembering one as an adult happened in 2019, August of 2019, and I thought I was losing my marbles. I was like, wait a minute. There it is, and then it's gone, and you're seeing sky where the stars are actually moving in the sky that shouldn't be moving, and the ship is cloaked because you can feel it in your chest.
Yeah.
And yet nobody else around me was seeing it, and I was with a science guy, major science nerd who deals with astronomy, and he had his huge telescope there that everybody was looking through, and I'm like, aren't you seeing this? They're like, what are you talking about? And they thought I was nuts. I'm like, no. Take a look. 50 feet down the street, look straight up. And I was the only one who saw it. And then in the morning, somebody told me that they saw the same ship, same location that very morning because they had slept in their car.
Weird.
And I was like, gee, I'm not losing my mind.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I came across an experiencer who had a theory that you'll only see the craft if you have some sort of contact, like existing contact already. So if you vibrate a certain way, like you will be tuned in to see the craft. And if those around you aren't, they won't. So I thought that was kind of interesting as well. Like it has that whole play on a group will see the same thing differently. And like you said, no, you saw it and others couldn't. So
It truly fascinated me too, because a few of the ones that I know, they're abductees. I was like, why are they not witnessing this? Why am I the only one seeing it?
I think it was because that sighting was specifically for you.
Right.
And I think that these extraterrestrials have the ability to say, okay, much like we said with Pascal, I mean, you and I could be sitting right side by side. You see a teardrop and I see nothing. It's like that message is for you. Nikki, we're going to have to let you go because we are running out of time, and I got someone else who wants to come on in. Thank you so much for calling into the show tonight. All right, let's go to A11. A11, can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Hello.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. Yourself?
Good. What's your war story?
Yeah, so I used to live and work. I live in the United States. I'm from the U.S. But I did have a pretty... I've had quite a bit of experiences that range from paranormal to, I guess, UFO, alien-oriented over the years. But while working in Canada, and I was living in Vancouver downtown in one of those giant glass, skyscraper buildings.
Know the ones.
In a condo. Yep. In fact, above the Scotia Theater there downtown across from the IGA.
Yes.
And
I know that one.
Yep. And I used to live on the 16th floor on one of the corner condos. And I had quite a bit of, I would say, very vivid, what I would call dreams of UFOs while I lived there. But actually on two different nights, but they weren't consecutive. They were, I would say, probably within the same time period of about 2 weeks. I basically woke up one night in the middle of the night, and there were literally perfect rows of text that wrapped around the room, and like as if they were being projected, and it was like a blue hologram, but without a light source. It wasn't like I saw projected, like a film projector projecting on a screen in the sense of seeing like the light beam projecting, but the wall itself had blue transparent text that was very Arabic looking. But I can't say for sure that it was Arabic because I'm not familiar enough with the Arabic language, but it looked like that sort of an ancient text, and it was in perfect rows wrapped all the way around the room. And I was definitely awake. I was not dreaming. Like at this point, I woke up and I saw this. And 2 nights, or I'm sorry, not 2 nights, but I would say within a couple of weeks, actually, it happened again. I woke up again and I saw it again. But this time I was like, I'm going to really focus and see if I can make sense of this. And I had a really good peripheral sense of the words, but I didn't recognize anything. I couldn't distinguish, like I said, what language it was, other than the fact that it looked very ancient. And I decided to focus on one of the characters. And as I did, they all sort of, that character itself actually morphed and changed. And almost like as if it was trying to communicate into English or something. And eventually, it was like I was zooming into it, and as I did, English started to form. But the only character that sort of came through that I visually saw, I saw this actually morphing into a C and a 2. Like the letter C and the number 2 right next to it, no space. And I was like, and then but I was so tired, like, it wasn't like I was definitely awake because I was aware, and I knew that I was awake because I'm like, I'm paying attention to this, I'm watching this, I know I'm awake, I know it's there, it's in front of me. And so anyway, it's not necessarily the most exciting story, but it was very intriguing to me. And it was like a perfectly aligned several rows of text going up and down my walls, wrapped all the way around the room of this sort of.
That is amazing.
Yeah, and then so anyway, but here's the kind of thing that really gave me chills the next day. I decide I type in C2 in Google, like I wonder if anything will come up, and the first thing that came up was human protein.
Really?
Yep. I swear I'm not making this up. I mean, I'm not kidding you. And I mean, I've had so many experiences and ones that are much stranger, but I thought this would be a nice little Vancouver story for you since you're in Canada.
Where are you? Where are you now?
I live in Florida.
Oh,
Hey.
Much nicer change.
We went south. Hey, let me show you.
I'm from Florida originally, but I worked. I've talked to you like through on the chat. I'm Apollo 11.
Oh yes, Apollo 11. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing all right.
Here, Apollo, I've talked to you too in the chat. Let me show you this, and you tell me if it looks similar to your writing.
Okay.
Oh, hold on.
Remember, our radio audience can't see that. We got like 30 seconds. So putting up a bunch of scribbles that look like hieroglyphics, that is very interesting. Very interesting.
This is from some research that I've been doing over the last year or so on light language. And these
but instead of so vertically oriented, like I would say those are columns. If you flip that horizontally, it would look like what I saw.
And how about those? See that?
Well, I'm going to get you guys to hold on because we do got to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Coming up next, we're going to warm up the Magic 8 Ball. We have the news, the thought of the Dave, and Nicole Sakach on Spaced Out Radio. That is awesome. We'll be back.
The first group looked more like what I saw.
Yeah.
But those characters looked more vertically oriented. What I saw was very horizontal.
Right.
You know? But it looked like that sort of a script. Yes.
The second one that I showed you was actually from Danny Sheehan had drawn that at a conference I was at last month. And it was writing that he saw that was on the side of a craft that he saw a photo of that he copied from memory and over the years.
Yeah, that's
I've never been able to match the symbols or shapes with any known language. And in my research, I've come across this light language, and it's fascinating. Some people, like you described, that it changed to English for you. Some people describe that they can read it, but they can't write it, and that they auto write it, but they can't read it. And some people say they can pick out even different dialects with it. So it's so wonderful. Some people call it angel language as well. So
that's fascinating. I mean, I couldn't believe it when I saw it, and I'm getting goosebumps talking to you because it's like recently I've joined Dave's show, and actually I found out about him through I was watching this other show that's actually I think it's even lesser known, and they were talking about Dave's show, and I came across Dave's show.
UFO Garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're allowed. They're allowed to be mentioned here.
But right. Sorry. But anyhow, but I watch the whole gamut of researchers and read, about them and all that. But I've never really talked too much at all, really. Actually, this is the first conversation I've had with someone. But
thank you so much. That was great.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I don't want to take all your time.
Too. That's so cool. Light language is like one of my new, I get.
I have to research it more. Yeah.
You guys need to talk about this a little bit more. I think there's a lot more to that story, Nicole. I really.
Well, with all the light language and Dave, we experienced, these shapes that appear. And that's one link that I found. It was like, are these, I always called them squiggly shapes. What are
Yeah.
these wiggly shapes that appear and they came when I would meditate. And then coming across these people, and Grant and I did, I think, a panel discussion on light language, and seeing people actually like auto write it and see people can even speak it. And that was like, kapow!
What does it sound like when people speak it?
Well, there's different languages in the light language as well. So I met one person, I think, that could speak 4 different light languages, and they honestly all sounded very different. And some of them kind of had like almost a guttural sound to them, and some of them sounded very lyrical, like that. All just so very fascinating. A good way to relate it to maybe something familiar is if you've ever been to any Christian churches where they speak in tongues. It kind of sounded similar to that. Where
I grew up Catholic, so no,
Right.
but I know like Pentecostal, like
Yes.
isn't that like a right?
Yeah. So, I mean, similar, I can't say exact, but that same kind of like vibe or emotion when you would hear people. It's almost like that, like you see people take on like that channeling presence. Like when they would speak the light language, it's like their body would kind of shift. And then, some of them could speak it and not even know what they were saying, but somebody else would interpret what they were saying, or somebody else could write what they were saying. Like, it's all very fascinating. Like
It's and how it might relate to our ancient past, cuneiform and all that.
Mhm.
But and it reminds me of the what is it, Peniston, the
the glyph on Jim Peniston's
right, exactly.
origin. Yeah, similar. Yeah, and I'm fascinated with that case too. If I see anything similar to those shapes, I send them to Jim.
All right, guys, I gotta, Mr. Apollo, I gotta let you go here because we are going to get into the Magic 8 Ball here. So let's make sure everybody in the audience gets tightened up. And thank you for calling in, man.
No problem. Thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
Enjoy the shows.
Take
All right,
care.
Bye-bye.
What a nice guy. First time I've chatted
That's
with him.
great. Yeah,
Are you sticking?
I'm picturing Apollo from Battlestar Galactica.
Hold on. We've rounded third. We're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. We really do appreciate earning your listening ears. We want to remind you that if you missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com, where we have a plethora of features for you, including rocking out to Bumblefoot and reading up on Captain Shirk's SOR Newswire. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show. It is that time once again where we warm up the Magic 8 Ball. All right, it's that time once again where we bring in the Magic 8 Ball to do some very, very highly controversial yet highly accurate psychic predictions. We do it once a week on this show, and we want to make sure that everyone gets an opportunity in our chat room tonight. Nicole Sakach is still with us. Nicole, would you like to warm up the 8 Ball with a question?
It's the My Daughter's Having a Sleepover with 5 of her friends, but I know just the place to go to get something for everybody and just a little something for myself too meal. There's a meal for every moment on the McDonald's $1, $2, $3 menu.
Like a 4 for $4 deal. Get a McDouble and add 4-piece Chicken McNuggets, small fries, and a medium soft drink for $4. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with combo meal.
Me, but also you. The Pharaoh fast forwards his favorite foreign film, Powder Donut. Okay, what's my line?
The only line I see here on the script is get options based on your budget with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive.
Oh man, that's a tongue twister, huh? I'm sorry, I'm gonna need a few more minutes. Bulbous Walrus, the Bulbous Walrus.
The Name Your Price tool, only from Progressive.
The owl ran afoul of the comatose coxswain.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Ooh. You know, I have passed with my own personal 8-ball.
All right. Is Nicole Sakach allergic or scared of the Magic 8-Ball? Let's find out, shall we? It says, levels are positive. You are afraid of it.
Oh, no. It meant I'm positive towards the 8-ball.
Oh.
It meant my levels
so I heard you wrong.
are positive. Like, it's good. I when I was little, I thought I could mentally make it like flip around inside.
All right. Well, let's get to Julie's question. She's asking, should I change satellite providers? I've heard very good things about Starlink, by the way. A few of my friends over here have Starlink, said it's incredible. And the answer for you, Jules, is Intel looks good. Isn't that weird that it uses the word Intel in that one? Mm-hmm.
I could feel that. Yep.
Yeah. Nikki, or pardon me, Jules, you definitely need to go over and use Starlink. Mm-hmm. All right. We have another question coming. This one from 11. If I go outside after the show, will I see a UFO? Let's see where we go with this one, Nick. The answer is, it is decidedly so. It is decidedly so. Go outside, look up, find where your eyes are comfortable, and just put your energy into that spot. Ask something to fly over. That's what I suggest you do.
Or go out, look all around you about 100 times, and look directly above you.
Right? That happens too. A very scary question from Paul Holland in Australia here. Should I switch to playing country music? Now, this is something we do not endorse in Spaced Out Radio Land. We don't endorse country music. We don't endorse soccer, especially children playing soccer. All right? All right. Should Paul Holland play country music? Well, apparently you've just put the 8-ball into hypersleep because it says in hypersleep. The 8-ball is not recommending that you play country music, Paul Holland in Australia. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I am not sorry. YJ, a good Canadian kid, is asking, can the Magic 8-Ball tell me if my dog can learn to stay in the yard? The answer is all clear. Dog don't care. Dog's going, you got a dog like I do, man. It's just a free spirit. Dog's like, I'm taking off. Don't leash me. I don't hear you when you call because I'm having way too much fun.
I had to fence mine.
Fence him in.
Fence
it's safety. It's safety.
I'm about to make the fence larger so he can pretend like he's free.
John Poe is asking, will Luis Elizondo leave everyone in the weeds? I have an answer for this one.
That's a good one.
I think he will. Good. I think he's going to all of a sudden abruptly retire from this business.
Dave, you haven't confessed this thought yet.
No, it's just a feeling I have.
Yeah?
I think
it's tough. It's tough.
I would say within 2 years, Elizondo's gone. What does the Magic 8 Ball say? Intel looks good. Intel looks good that Luis Elizondo will leave everyone in the weeds. I'm giving it a timeline within 2 years from today. So within 2 years of August 3rd, 2023, I do not think Elizondo. Put that prediction down. You got a pen there.
I'm doing it.
All right. B. Hoff is asking, Magic 8 Ball, is the Earth flat for real? And the answer is, out of fuel, try again later. What that usually means is, are you kidding me? Really? There's sarcasm in that answer for you, B. Hoff, because the world's round. Not perfectly round, but round. Zenzabil is asking, Magic 8 Ball, do you tell the truth? And the answer is, reply hazy, try again. Doesn't like this ball, I'm going to be honest with you, this Magic 8 Ball doesn't like sarcastic questions. It gives a sarcastic answer back. All right, Fabster. If I go buy a one-size-fits-all Dodger hat, will it fit? Absolutely not, Fab. Fab, they couldn't even fit a rain tarp over your head. Hold on. It is decidedly so. The Magic 8 Ball doesn't lie, Fab. Apparently, there is a baseball cap out there to fit your size 16 head. Normal people wear a 7, just so you know. All right, let's see if there are any more questions here. Lazarus is asking, 8 Ball, is there a frozen civilization under Antarctica? Personally, I don't buy the whole Antarctica thing.
Is there an ancient human frozen civilization on Antarctica, or are we asking an alien?
I think either or, but the answer is ask again later. Magic 8 Ball, I will say this. Magic 8 Ball does not like the Antarctica questions. Does not like it. All right, 509er wants to ask, Magic 8 Ball, are we living in an alternative world or realm that is different from our original human world? See what he says.
Interesting.
You have my pity. Got to think about that. How does that play out on this one? You have my pity. That could be yes, and you have my pity for it going there. Or you have my pity because that's a ridiculous question. It is a good question, though.
I like that question, yeah. Mm-hmm. What would the original human world, is that like Eden?
I don't know.
Eden?
I don't know.
Monkey existence?
Don't know. Let's see. Reply hazy, try again. The Magic 8 Ball is getting worn out. We've only got it for about another 2-3 minutes.
Yep.
All right.
It burns out fast, that's for sure.
It does. Lots of energy. Joe is asking, will there be a trip to Vancouver in Nicole Sakach's future?
Ooh.
The answer is in hypersleep. So in other words, not for a while. Not for a while. All right. Grandmaster is asking, am I the leader of the universe, Magic 8 Ball?
Ooh.
You have my pity, Grandmaster. You have my pity.
That makes me want to go, I have the power!
Oh, yes. A little He-Man action there.
Rebooted on Netflix. I'm sorry. I'm like reliving my childhood right now.
You know what I never understood about He-Man? Right off the bat, the He-Man cartoon.
You don't have to understand it.
Is He-Man would be chasing down Skeletor, or one of Skeletor's minions.
The Horde.
And then he would just stop and he'd give this little shake thing happening, and then he'd start running again. Like, oh, there he is. I lost him right in front of me. I better look to my left and shake my arms. Look to my right, shake my arms. You know what I'm talking about. Anybody who's watched He-Man knows.
The reboot, they fixed all those animation issues.
Oh. Chris Mo in Austria is asking, is Carl the alien an agent for the galactic entertainment industry? Not today, Sheriff. Not today. No, he's just a gray who's hanging on out.
Yep.
All right, we got time for one more. That's going to come from the George Hernandez. Actually, we'll fit in two more. Azrael as well. Second to last.
Jorge Hernandez.
Uh-huh. And the answer is there another, or the question is there another world besides this world? And the Magic 8 Ball says, all clear. Definitely. Definitely. But I think it's on a different timeline. And Azrael is asking, did we all die in 2012? Final question for the Magic 8 Ball on the night. Did we all die in 2012?
We all see dead people.
Not today, Sheriff. Not today. Nikki, you ready for some news?
I am.
Me too. I just got to find our theme song here because I'm that guy. There it is. The news is always changing, which is why we bring you the SOR Newswire at the back end of every show, where we get to the weird, the strange, the wacky, and sometimes the odd. Not to be outdone by the young upstart Perseverance, NASA's Curiosity rover has spent days gathering images of interesting rocks at the base of Mount Sharp on Mars, which near where the rover landed back in 2012. One of those features is an arch. Yeah, similar to some of the towering geology present on parts of Earth, but this arch is only about 6.5 inches tall. I'm going to be honest with you, it looks like a cat head. It looks like a cat head. It does. It totally does look like a cat head. This is weird. This is totally, totally weird. Okay?
Ooh.
So this cat head thing, raw images of this, apparently the structure is located in Mars' Gale Crater. No wonder Captain Shirk put it in the news. It's Gale Crater.
Gale's Crater, of
It's
course.
Gale's Crater. We're going to call it Shirky Poo Crater now. Which is nearly 4 billion year old meteor impact site. How the hell can they tell it's a 4 billion year old meteor impact site? I'm sorry, I don't like when they do that. They can't tell. Oh, based on clay and sulfate mineral deposits located on it. Anyways, they're trying to figure out what this thing is. So there it is. Okay, if you were to look at the photo, okay, it's like you got the big sandy ground, and then you have this, what looks to be a petrified cat with legs in the front and legs in the back.
I get that. Okay, can I chime in for a second,
Sure.
though? Because it kind of looks like, you visualize this a little bit. It almost looks like somebody bending over going, "Blah!"
No, that ain't human. That looks like a cat. So if you go back to the first picture, that looks like a cat. Look, it's got the pointed ears. It looks like a bobcat.
Yeah.
A petrified bobcat on Mars. That's what they found. We're going to call it that. I'm drawing the line on that one. They found a petrified bobcat on Mars.
We need a different shot of it. We need that's a profile. We need a straight-on face shot.
All right, exactly. All right, a pensioner in Germany has been convicted of illegal weapons possession after he is found to own an extensive personal arsenal, including a tank. The defendant, who's 84 years old, has been handed the suspended sentence of 14 months in prison and has been ordered to pay a fine of, about 250,000 euros, or pounds, pardon me. Officials found the tank and another World War II-era military equipment at the defendant's house in northern town of Heikendorf in 2015. The Army had to help with the removal. Oh, isn't that terrible? Isn't that terrible? They just don't let you play with the World War II weapons the way they used to. And finally tonight, all right, a couple who recently purchased a Pennsylvania farmhouse said they had to pay $12,000 to have 450,000 bees removed from inside the walls. Sarah Weaver said she and her husband bought the 1872 farmhouse in Skippack without conducting any inspection because they had been searching for a home in the area and wanted to move quickly when they saw the house on the market. What they didn't expect was bees. Lots of bees. Bzzing all over the place. There was just no way that they could get it. You know the weird part about it is, I don't even think that they got to keep the honey. Terrible.
Ooh.
Thought of the Day happens every night at this time, where we ask a question on our Facebook and Twitter pages, then read your responses on the air because we love the audience participation around here. Today's Thought of the Day is as follows. What do you think? Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's go this way. What's a weird, not gross, habit you have that no one or very few know about? Nicole, what's your habit? What's your fix?
I keep notebooks on individuals that I find fascinating.
Really?
Yep. You want to see yours?
Oh, it's probably pretty thin. Probably pretty thin. All right, like what, 2 pages, if that?
I'll show you sometime. No, honestly, like most of my notebooks look like this, But if I'm looking into somebody, because a lot of times you end up researching researchers, I continually fill like their notebook. So, yeah, it's fun.
Joe Monk says his weird habit is listening to SOR naked in the California woods.
Ooh.
He's got nice hair to keep him warm, though. Let's see, what would mine be? I got a bunch of little quirks.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's stupidly funny to collect beards. And hot sauce bottles. I collect hot sauce bottles. And I'll admit what every man does, but never admits. Every man. We spend extra time on the bathroom or in the bathroom on the toilet, even though we're done, only because it's the only place we could get some privacy. And if any man denies that, they are liars. They are liars. You've been done for 45 minutes. It's time to get out. All right. Let's see what the audience has to say. On Twitter, Magic says, I like to-do lists. I have 2 showers a day. If I go out, I have to take certain things in my man bag. Sweets, chocolate, a drink, and my book on anxiety, just in case I have a panic attack or low blood sugar. What can I say? I'm weird. I also avoid motorways. David, I delete tweets if there's a typo, unless someone already has liked or retweeted it. Will, I sometimes talk to certain trees as if they're people. I've done that. That's cool.
That's fun.
Wu-Tang, I bite my nails when I'm anxious. Cherry picking, I carry a tiny spray bottle of iso alcohol 90%. Mike, I must always have a bottle or a cup of water near me. Airplane security is a nightmare, and I can't play most sports because of this. Filth, I usually drink all the pickle juice before I eat the pickles.
I love that one.
Yes. Drew, all of my bad habits are not a secret. I drink too much and I smoke. Linda, always have to sanitize my hands after touching money. Me too. John, I've got 2. I take a flea comb to my cats. Taking a flea comb to my cats. All right.
Oh.
Okay. Science Bob, I look at the night sky at night for anything interesting. Barbara, I love black olives. Chris, I search for birds' nests, then pet the babies. Shin Goji, secretly worship Cthulhu. Magnus, I generally wear socks inside out because the seams bother my feet. Elaine, my clothes are in my closet are organized by color to make a rainbow. That is cool. Ryan,
That's awesome.
sending a laundry list of names to Dexter only to get a response from Michael C. Hall. He didn't find it funny either. Thank you to everybody participating in the Thought of the Dave. We'll do it all again tomorrow. We really appreciate that. Thank you to
Unexpected trouble? CashNet USA can take the stress out of borrowing emergency funds. Our fast, secure application process makes it easy to apply online 24/7. Plus, CashNet USA offers same-day funding if approved before 10:30 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. Additional terms may apply. Visit cashnetusa.com or tap the banner to apply today.
Unexpected trouble? CashNet USA can take the stress out of borrowing emergency funds. Our fast, secure application process makes it easy to apply online 24/7. Plus, CashNet USA offers same-day funding if approved before 10:30 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. Additional terms may apply. Visit cashnetusa.com or tap the banner to apply today.